All right. Hello, everybody. Welcome. This is going to be a new series where I basically just document a knife that I own in my collection and show you it up close. So this is not going to be a review or a demo as such. It's more just going to be, hey, look at this knife, and I'm going to talk about it. And I figured we'd start with what is my favorite knife and my most used knife in my collection. This is the Spyderco Delica 4 in stainless steel. So, I got this knife because, well, I really wanted to get a high quality Spyderco, but not the most expensive and also not the sort of entry level ones. So the Delica series really stood out to me. Made in Japan, really good quality. And so, yeah, I pulled the trigger on it. Most Delicas have the FRN scales, which are really cool. Some really great options out there. I was tempted by those, but there was just something about the sleekness that just really attracted me to the stainless steel version. So I'll do a rundown of the specs, and then I'll talk about what I like about the knife and what I dislike, which is not very much, to be honest, because I just love this thing. So this is VG10 steel. VG10 blade steel anyway, made in Seiki City, as you can see there on the blade. There's the maker's mark II. This one has a Sabre grind, which is quite interesting, because the Delica series normally have a full flat grind. I think most Spydercos do, actually, so it's a little bit unusual to find this grind, but I like it, I dig it, works real well. I'm so impressed with the slicing power of this knife, actually. So it is just an EDC knife for me. I'm not doing any kind of heavy-duty work with it. Just paper, card, plastic zip ties, string, whatever. But the edge is just fantastic, super sharp. I haven't even sharpened this knife, actually. So it's still in really great shape. The blade is, at least. The scales, not so much. These have got all dinged up, as you can see. That's what happens with stainless steel knives. It doesn't bother me. For some people I know it's, a collecting thing, a collector's thing. They like to keep it nice and shiny and everything. I'm not too bothered. This thing has just picked up some scratches along the way, and that's fine by me. It has a back lock, which is great. Nice and tight lockup. Real easy to open and close with one hand. In fact, what's great about this, when you look real close, hopefully the camera will pick this up, it's incredibly flush. It's amazingly well machined. And that was another thing that just really attracted me to this knife in the first place. You can see the back spacer there. This is not one piece of steel, so there are two pieces of steel either side, and then there's a back spacer. The camera's kind of not focusing on it. There it is. Yeah, look how flush this is. That's incredible. And then if I release the lockup, you'll be able to see here. I'll try and get a close-up of it locking up because it's so nice, so satisfying. All right, here we go. Just so tight. No wiggle room for the knife, the blade anyway. So yeah, zero play whatsoever, which is really impressive, I think. It's a very thin knife, as you can see, if I hold it this way. This way as well, as you can see. Super slim. Now, you might notice a couple of very specific scars that the knife has, or my knife has, I should say. There's one back here, and there's one up here as well. And I actually didn't do this. This was someone else who dropped the knife onto the concrete floor, and it picked up these two chips. And this one is a little bit inconveniently placed because it's right on the backlock. It's actually on both the backlock and the scale. And it didn't affect the usability of the knife, except almost immediately after, or the same day, I noticed that the detent got really gritty, and I had some trouble opening and closing the knife. And I think what probably happened is, after that little scratch, some dirt or something got in there, made its way in here, and then, yeah, it was sticky for a while. I solved that with some WD-40, just sprayed it right in here, and then also in the space here. And then I just opened and closed the knife a few dozen times, and that just fixed it right up, and it's been perfect ever since. I know that WD-40 isn't necessarily a fix-all for everything, but it worked in this instance. So I'm pretty happy with that it was able to be solved, and I really don't mind knives getting scratched up. I mean, they're supposed to be used, they're supposed to be worn in, I think anyway. Nice clip here. It's got the Spyderco logo embossed on it. I actually don't even use the clip, so that's why it's just stayed in the same place where it came from the factory. So yeah, I just throw this thing in my pocket, whether it's my trousers pocket or jacket pocket or what have you. It just goes straight in there, and it's as simple as that. So yeah, we have a 7.5 centimeter blade. I didn't mention that. Really nice kind of feel to it. The jimping on the back here, your thumb just sits nicely on it. You could get your finger over the top like that as well for some draw cuts or anything else that you need precision for. So quite a small knife, but it feels good. I will say, having very thin scales, it doesn't have like a nice firm grip to it. It's not something that I think you could work with for a really long time because it just doesn't have that kind of like grip or that bulk that you might want in your scales. But the advantage of it is that it's very, very portable. It is quite heavy, relatively heavy, I suppose. 110 grams, mine is. But I actually like the feel of a heavy knife. I quite like to just, know that it's there in my pocket. And yeah, when you get a knife with steel scales, that will happen. Okay, one really interesting thing about the knife is, this one in particular, compared to the ones that have the FRN scales, it doesn't have some of the screw points. So it has these screw-in points for your clip, wherever you want to put it, which quite frankly I could do without because I haven't even bothered moving it. So for me, the knife could be streamlined even more without these. And then there's a lanyard hole, which I also don't use, but that's there if you like it. I could go without that. And it got me thinking, how exactly is this knife put together? Because there's no real indication as to how one would put it together or take it apart, unless I'm missing something really obvious. But one thing I did find is, with the FRN versions, there are these screw points, and this knife actually has very, very tiny circles. I wonder if the camera can pick it up. There's one... maybe you can kind of catch them there. There are these little circles where the screws would be, and I think what they did perhaps is they built the knife and then they plugged those spots with steel, and then just, ground the whole thing down so it was flush. And there are 3 separate points on the knife where you can find those. Not sure if you can see down there. There's one here as well. Hopefully the camera is showing that. So yeah, my theory is that the knife was put together, and then those gaps were plugged, and then the whole thing was made flush, and then that's it. So I don't really know how I would go about taking this apart if I had to. Luckily, I haven't had to. I had that little problem with the grit, which affected the action, but that was easily fixed. But get a load of how thin this is. I mean, there's nothing in there to indicate how this knife has been put together, which is so cool to me. The whole thing just seems like a perfectly machined piece of high quality steel. So there you have it. That's the Spyderco Delica 4 in stainless steel scales, VG10, blade, Sabre grind, backlock. Absolutely fantastic pocket knife, everyday carry knife. Look at that. It's pretty much dead center, although the knife is so thin, there's nowhere else for the blade to go. So I'm trusting it to sort of stay in place for a while. I'm basically just going to ride this thing till the wheels fall off, because there's other Spydercos I want that I don't own, but this thing is just such a great worker that I'm just going to keep using it until it breaks or until something happens which makes it less usable. But I'm confident it's going to last a long time. It flicks just fine. Maybe the click of a backlock is less satisfying than a compression lock or a liner lock, but yeah, it sounds fine. One thing is, with stainless steel as well, it can get a little bit slippy. So as far as like a thumb opening, sometimes you just don't have much of a grip. You don't have much purchase on the scales, depending on, if your hands are maybe a little bit sweaty or something, it's a little bit harder. So a hack for that, or what I like to do if I'm thumb opening it, is to use my 4th finger here, the pinky, and just kind of pinch it like this. So sort of scissoring the knife, and then rolling open the blade. You know, you can do it very slowly, very controlled with the thumb, just like that. That's a solution to that. You might have noticed me opening and closing the knife with one hand throughout the video. I like the one-handed close. I just think it's useful to be able to do that with any folding knife. So what I do is release the back lock, and then I come in here with my middle finger and then the thumb, and they meet, and then I kind of just squeeze the blade back in like that. And it's a very, very easy and safe way to close the knife. But that's it. Yeah, thanks for checking out the Delica 4. And yeah, if you're interested, I really, really recommend this one. If you like mid-price Japanese quality Spydercos, you can do a lot worse than the Delica 4 in stainless steel. I highly recommend it. So there you have it, guys. This is the knife documented. If that was interesting, then stick around, because I'm basically just going to be doing a little document of every knife that I own, I guess, one at a time. So yeah, hopefully that'll be interesting. More of those coming. I think I'll probably just make one of those and release them every week, I guess. So stick around, and thanks for checking it out. Spyderco Delica 4 stainless steel. See you next time.